of grace and beauty, yet it's among the most demanding in athletics. The UCLA Bruins are the #1 team in the NCAA, led by top-ranked Tanya Service. A championship is the final goal in a record-breaking year. It is a sport with so many fine athletes, yet Utah has won 6 of the last 8 NCAA titles. Now with 1988 Olympian Missy Marlowe, they're hoping to resurrect.
This is a news.
They are a team accustomed to throwing out all the stops, and today will be bolstered by the cheers of their home fans. It is a sport of surprises, and the Alabama Crimson Tide would like to repeat last year's victory party. Set back by injuries, they are underdogs, but hope to prevail against the best collegiate teams in the nation as we prepare to bring you the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. University of Georgia, site of this year's NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships. Inside here at the Georgia Coliseum, we've got an enthusiastic crowd on hand to watch the best in college competition. Hello, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, normally gymnastics is thought of as an individual sport, but today we'll be determining the best collegiate team in the nation. In fact, the only 3 teams to win a national championship in the decade of the 80s are here: Utah, Georgia, and the defending champion, Alabama. I'm pleased to be working alongside with the 1984 Olympic silver and bronze medalist, Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, any of these 3 teams are capable of winning the title.
Yes, they can, but they're the underdogs here. No one can ever count out Utah because of their previous dominance. And Georgia has the advantage of competing at home. Alabama, the defending champions, have to compete without their top performer, Marie Robbins, because of an injury.
Kathy, clearly the best team in the competition today is UCLA, a squad that comes in as the NCAA's #1 seed.
They're definitely the most talented team here, and they have the most depth in every event. In fact, this team is almost the same team that competed 2 years ago and was expected to win, but they had their problems. Now they're much more experienced, and they're ready to win, and most importantly, they're injury-free.
Now, as deep and as talented as the Bruins are, can anyone realistically challenge them?
Yes, it's possible. If UCLA falters, all the other teams are so close that it's going to be the team that makes the fewest mistakes that becomes champion.
12 teams came to Athens, but only 6 will compete in this, the final round.
They all have a shot at the title, but Nebraska and Fullerton would have to hit every event with the favorites making some mistakes.
UCLA has averaged the highest score all year, but there are other legitimate contenders. The UCLA Bruins are the logical favorite in this year's meet and are led by Tanya Service, the best all-around gymnast. Injuries and hard luck have prevented them from winning the past 2 years, but Coach Jerry Tomlinson believes they have only themselves to beat now.
Right now, I feel there's only one thing that keeps us from winning a national championship, and that's fate, meaning, the man upstairs. If it's not our turn, it's not our turn. But I honestly feel the girls are ready. They know they're ready. They feel confident, and they know nothing can stop them but themselves right now.
The Lady Utes of Utah are no strangers to these championships, having won 6 straight this decade. And the #2 seed has added Olympian Missy Marlowe to its roster. But the adjustment to college competition takes time, and Missy will only compete on 2 apparatus, the uneven bars and the beam. Last year's homecoming party was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as the Crimson Tide won their first title. But now they've lost their top gymnast, Marie Robbins, to an ankle injury, and must rely on sophomores like Kim Masters and Tina Rinker to take up the slack. The Lady Bulldogs of Georgia will have the crowd rooting for them when they take to the mats. They'll be led by Lucy Weiner, who's extraordinary on uneven bars and adds senior leadership as well.
Dad.
Coach Suzanne Yocklin hopes to win back the title they won in '87 in typical Georgia fashion.
We go with what they want to do, and we gamble. We take the chances. We put girls in that have made mistakes. We put girls in that have just come off injuries. If they can look at me and tell me they know they can hit and they want to compete, then we put them in. We take the chances, and we're going to take them again.
And we'll find out if their gambles pay off. Coming up next is the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships.
This CBS Sports Saturday special edition, the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships, are sponsored by Budweiser. Beat asthma attacks. Primatine tablets for hours of relief.
This championship competition. 6 gymnasts for each team compete on each apparatus. Only the top 5 scores count, and the highest cumulative score after 6 rounds or rotations wins the championship. Since there are 6 teams and only 4 events, each team will sit out 2 rotations, which are called byes. And in this rotation, UCLA and Utah will sit out. Alabama's first event is the uneven bars. And what about the defending champions, Kathy?
Well, they are at a disadvantage competing without Marie Robbins, but they have the bonus of starting on their strongest event, the uneven bars. They're very aggressive and exciting in competition, and after winning last year, they have the experience.
Sophomore Kim Masters is one of the anchors for the Crimson Tide.
This is her second year in collegiate gymnastics, and she's really adjusted well. Look at that, a beautiful Shaposhnikova up to the high bar. Nice swing here, giant swing, full pirouette over the top. One of the more difficult moves done in the routine. Setting up for the dismount, giant swing, a double tuck flyaway. She went out a little too far and had to hop the landing.
And Kathy, this is the one event that Alabama needs to do well in to rack up points.
If they can start out with a real high team event score, it can put a lot of pressure on the other teams.
And the score is a good one, a 9-7-0. Over at the vault, one of the big guns for Georgia, Corrine Wright.
A layout Tsukuhara with just a tiny hop on the landing. Beautifully executed. She is so powerful in this event. This is the only slight deduction. Legs apart there, and a tiny little hop right there.
But a solid score.
And they're looking for big scores like that from Corrine all day if they're expecting to win.
Lisa Dolan of Cal State Fullerton is getting set for the beam routine, and that squad will need an awful lot of help.
They're very young and inexperienced, and in order to win, the other teams would have to make mistakes. Fullerton's actually doing quite well on the balance beam, particularly since they're starting out on this event. They're in the mid-9s. Lisa's one of their best beam workers. They're hoping to get a higher score here.
You may notice the crowd noise and music in the background. That's because all the events are going on at the same time.
And that can be distracting. Preparing for her dismount. Round off double twist. Good, solid routine for them.
A 9.65 is their highest score on the beam. Preparing for the floor exercises is Nebraska, a very improved team, Kathy.
They are much better than their 10th place finish last year, particularly on floor exercise and balance beam, but they still rely on the uneven bars.
This is Lisa McCready, a sophomore, who's the team's strongest performer on the floor.
It's a nice tumbling pass, a front through to a front with a full twist. Key to their great improvement was hiring a balance beam and floor exercise coach, Peggy Liddick, to specifically help in the areas of choreography. It's made a huge difference. Preparing for her last tumbling run. Twist. Good, strong finish. It was a nice routine, but it's not quite at the level of UCLA or Georgia. It's just not as exciting as some of the other routines. The other routines really get the audience involved.
And the 9.70 is the highest score on the team. Over at the bars, Sherry Way of Alabama. She played an important role in last season's championship.
She's one of my favorite gymnasts here. She has impeccable form. It's a beautiful full pirouette on the high bar. And a reverse heft. It's a big release move.
Alabama really needs to do the job on the bars, Kathy, with some big scores.
Well, this routine is very capable of scoring high. It's a front dismount. Pretty big hop there at the end, but it's one of the only deductions of the routine.
So Alabama has done the job coming out of the gates well on the uneven bars, posting very high scores. And Sherry Way with a 9.70 has reason to smile as Alabama leads comfortably after one rotation over Georgia, Nebraska, and Cal State Fullerton. But yet to come is Utah and UCLA.
Puts itself in good position with a strong start on the uneven bars. And as we get set for rotation number 2, Utah and UCLA about to begin. Nebraska and Alabama will sit this one out. And UCLA, the team to beat. Kathy, how strong are they?
They're definitely the most talented team here, and they have great routines on every single event. They're more experienced this year, but most importantly, they have to hit balance beam. That always tells the tale.
Much of that leadership you talked about, Kathy, falls on the shoulder of the best all-around performer, Tanya Service.
You always have that added responsibility. You are the leader throughout the group, and so, but I don't feel it as pressure. You know, I just go out there and say, yes, I am, and this is what I want our team to be, and so I'm going to go out there and do the best possible job I can do so that everyone else follows that leadership role.
And this is Tanya Service on the vault.
And she will be doing a tucked Sukahara with a full twist. A little bit off center on the landing, which made her hop to the right. Very slight deduction.
Coach Jerry Tomlinson obviously pleased with that performance.
What the judges are looking for are tight, straight legs. Her legs are a little bent and separated on the pre-flight, small deduction, and a stuck landing, which she hops and goes off to the side, another slight deduction.
And the score only slightly affected, delivering a strong 9.75. Georgia, about to perform on the bar, started slowly this year, but is coming on strong.
Their two big advantages are they are peaking now, and they're competing for a home crowd, which could have a lot to do with how they perform.
Junior Corrine Wright had some very definite thoughts about that home crowd advantage.
I think it's going to be great because when we get a lot of fans here, it psychs us up so much, you know, and so it's going to make it great for us to compete and look up and see familiar faces and people who are rooting for us.
And there's a face you'll only see in the state of Georgia.
With all the screaming and yelling, if I didn't know better, I'd think I was at a football game.
And this is Corrine Wright on the bars, one of her strong suits.
She does excellent work here. And in fact, all the girls are better on bars because now, in the last year, they've allowed the girls to put the bars out farther, giving them more room to swing. The rails are smaller, they're easier to hold on to. Giant, she's a little bit off center on those giants, but not bad. Another full twist and an open tuck double flyaway. Good, solid routine. Take special note of her sticking the dismount. You have to fight for every tenth of a point when a competition is going to be this close.
There's that crowd you were talking about, Kathy.
It's got to help their case.
And so will that score of 9.75. At the beam, the dominant team of the 80s, Utah. Kathy, what about this year's version?
Well, their reputation precedes them. The tradition is always there. They're usually well prepared. This year, though, they lack a little experience and some depth on each event.
Patty Massels on the beam. Not an easy event to start with.
It's difficult to begin on beam because it's not an easy event to compete on when you're overly nervous or excited. A little bit of problem there.
Utah needs a solid performance here, Kathy.
They've already had a few shaky routines up to this point. Okay, she's getting it back solid. Dismount, round off double twist. Strong dismount.
As Patty Massels completes her routine, Utah needs to break out of the mid-9 range in order to get into the top 3. And unfortunately, that 9.45 won't help the cause. Meanwhile, at the bars, Lucy Weiner of Georgia.
And she is one of the best there is on this event. The routine is so unique. Watch this move coming up. It's a toe on the handstand. Straddle over the bar, right into a front flip catch. It's so unique. Just beautiful line. Excellent toe point. Front with a half dismount, a good landing. Excellent routine.
And the crowd noise is deafening. And at the vault, UCLA's Jill Andrews somehow has to concentrate through the noise.